Installing healthy habits is something that's so incredibly vital. We've just come through a full moon period, and a full moon is about bringing light to our shadow. So many emotions and so many old stories, beliefs, old patterns of behavior, they all come to the surface at that time. And it's a beautiful moment because we don't create change in our world unless there is so much pain, usually, for most of us. Odd, we as humans choose that as our pathway, but we do. So let's find incredibly powerful ways to be able to work through those times. So when you're in that period where you're wanting to make massive change and you are wanting things to be different in your world, regardless whether it's on a personal, a professional, a career, a relationship, your mind, your body, your spirit, regardless on what level it is, when you want to be able to create change, the fastest way to make sure that you can establish and maintain that change is through healthy habits, because motivation is what starts off the process. We get really motivated. Something becomes a trigger that you just go, you know what, I have freaking had enough of this shit. And then we create change. So it's that motivation that starts off that process. But in order to be able to maintain it is about having healthy habits. Because when we choose to make change, what we're actually making the suggestion is we are surrendering, we are letting go, and we are releasing something that we feel is no longer working or serving us anymore. But what happens is that creates avoidance. And unless you fill that avoidance with something that is going to establish healthy new habits to be able to break the old patterns and start rewiring your thinking, it's so easy to go back to the old because it's familiar, it's what you know. So you want to get comfortable with being able to go, hey, you know what? This is what I want to let go of, and that's awesome. But then the most important step that you can do is then be able to say, so what am I going to replace the thing I no longer want to do with something that is going to make sure that I stay on track with not going back to that old anymore. And so, it's a simple process once you know what to be able to do. So if you're wanting to make changes around, health and nutrition, then there's no point just thinking about it. It means you're going to start to make sure that you start eating healthy, which means you're going to have to go to the grocery store. You're going to have to buy that nutritional food. You're going to have to come home and prepare, and then you're going to have to eat the food. As far as exercise, there's no point saying you want to be able to exercise if every day you're sitting on your backside and you're not actually getting up and moving. That is what is the most simplest step. And sometimes just because it's simple, we seem to overlook the power of simplicity. So you want to be able to make sure that as you're creating the change that you want and moving into that beautiful transformation of moving into the direction of where you want to be, because when we want to create change, we have a vision in our mind or a feeling that we want to feel. So, with health and nutrition, you want to feel healthier or you want to feel stronger. That's the feeling you're going for. So you need to be able to look at, so what are you going to do so that you can see that you are making yourself a priority by doing the action steps, because what you want to be able to replace something with and creating healthy habits is all going to require action, regardless whether it's action in your mindset, action in your actual physicality by getting moving, but everything is going to require action. So, if you want to be able to make sure that your internal dialogue is much more empowering, then you've got to be able to know what that empowerment sounds like, what it looks like, what it feels like, and what the vision is that you have for that. So, if you're wanting to, as I was saying, using that internal dialogue, if you're sick and tired of hearing yourself emotionally beat yourself up, then you want to go out there and you want to start seeking out, what kind of words do you want to hear? What are some of the things that you want to replace it with? What do you want to be able to say to yourself to install those healthy new habits? And then it's about consistently applying them every single day. And this is where we get to rewire our mind, because unless we are creating these new healthy ways and these new healthy habits, we're not actually rewiring the psychology or the neurology in our mindset, because our mind will go, okay, this this trigger is set off again, what is it that I know that's familiar that I do all the time? And it will immediately go back to the old. So in order to create that change, we need to rewire the way you think and feel. And so therefore, this is where our healthy habits come in. And it's the healthy habits that you do on a consistent basis that is going to, see you get over the line of making sure you install this new way of thinking and this new way of being. And before long, you are going to see and feel and know all of that transformation within you, because you're going to be collecting evidence all the time. Every time you may say something amazing to yourself is going to be a collection of data that your mind starts going, oh, I do like this. And so you're going to want to do it more often. And you're also going to be able to become aware of those moments where you start going back to the old, because you'll have that old feeling that comes up that doesn't make you feel good. And you're going to go, hell no, I don't want to feel that way anymore. I want to feel that good feeling again. So in order to be able to really maintain that motivation of creating change, you must replace the old with something new. So focus all of your attention on the new. Think about all the creative ways in which you can do the something new, because it doesn't have to be boring and regimented, because if it's boring and regimented, guess what? You're probably not going to freaking do it. So have some fun when you get to think about these new healthy habits that you want to do, and then just start immediately doing them and stay committed. And don't worry about the resistance. The resistance is beautiful, because the resistance is letting you know that you're creating change, and that old part of you, it wants to fight, but you're stronger than that, and you're not going to buy into that crap anymore. That resistance is an amazing aspect to say, you are creating the change that you want to see and feel. So feel into those new healthy habits. Have fun with them. Be creative with them. And know that it won't take very long to be able to rewire the neurology in your mind so that it will become a new way of being and a new way of doing for yourself. So remember, install healthy habits to create and maintain the change that you want right now.